Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Coach Prime continuing to stay active in the transfer portal. It seems like at this point, every single night, we're doing a little update on what Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes are up to in the transfer portal. Tonight, they were up in a big way, getting former five-star prospect from that 2020 class, Sav'ell Smalls, took his official visit there this weekend. 2 days later, on Tuesday afternoon, he commits. Again, you talk about an injection of talent. Just a different caliber of athletes that are in this Colorado program as opposed to 12 months ago for this Colorado team. It's night and day. And that is exactly what Coach Prime is doing. He told you from day one, and we say this all the time, this team is going to look a heck of a lot different from 2022 to when this team trots out in 2023. And that's exactly what's happening. Now, before we get into talking a little bit about Savelle Smalls, talking a little bit about some of the other prospects that could be on their way to Colorado, just want to say thank you to you guys again. We say this has been the most intriguing story in the 2023 college football season, potentially just in the last couple of years. We haven't seen a coach like Deion Sanders coming to a program and completely overhaul the roster, the transfer portal, and how talented the transfer portal is allowing him to do this. And it's just a blast to follow how he is reconstructing this roster. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, can't thank you guys enough. Over 5,000 subscribers on the channel is just extremely incredible, and we appreciate you guys for sticking around, supporting the boys. Let's talk a little bit about Sav'ell Smalls, and this is something we talked about. Is they're looking pretty good in terms of speed and playmakers on the outside. Jimmy Horn Jr., Travis Hunter, you have Shedeur Sanders throwing the football, Dylan Edwards, Kavasi Smoke in the backfield. Like the skill on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, quite frankly, with those new cornerback additions, it looks good. What is the one position that we were kind of saying, if Colorado wants to be very competitive in the Pac-12, which is a very good conference this year, they got to get more athletic, bigger, stronger, faster on the line of scrimmage on both sides. And what you're seeing with the guy in Sav'ell Smalls, who coming out of high school, I mean, a top 30 dude nationally, he didn't quite work out at Washington, right? He appeared in 29 games. The stat line is not great. The film is not great. You don't become a top 30 dude nationally if you aren't extremely gifted. Like, the more I listen to the evaluation process that 24/7 Sports puts on and how they make these rankings, they're pretty damn good. And you saw them be proven in the NFL draft. Like, these rankings are very accurate in evaluating the guys who can make an impact at the college football level. Sav'ell Smalls certainly has every attribute in the book to be a dominant player in the Pac-12 and in college football in general. Now he just needs to put it together. And I think a lot of times change of scenery, a change of the voice in your head, a change of the coach, that can work out in a big way. We saw Bo Nix, maybe a kind of a solid example, 5-star quarterback, played at Auburn, made some really ugly mistakes, goes over to Oregon, looks way, way better. Looks like a different player. Now, granted, new offensive coordinator, new offensive line, some weapons, but the point remains the same. Like, if you just get a change of scenery, maybe a change of scheme, change of position, change of what you're doing on the defensive line, like, that could really benefit a guy like Sav'ell Smalls, who is certainly capable of being a dominant defensive player for Colorado. And you look at the roster for Colorado over the past 5-10 years, they have 3 of the most talented dudes that have ever been in this program in the last decade on their team right now. Travis Hunter, Kamani McLean, Savelle Smalls. I have all 3 former 5-star guys. Colorado never brought in 5-star guys before Coach Prime showed up. And so now you're starting to do it, and now it's even getting more fun because it's getting to the positions that we wanted to see Colorado kind of bolster in. Now, you see some other guys, Derek McClendon coming, a former 4-star guy who played significant reps from Florida State, coming in as a pass rusher. Jordan Dominic, who had 9 sacks at Arkansas last year in the SEC. He's coming to Colorado. So maybe I'm a little off in the sense that this Colorado team, especially in the trenches, is kind of coming along together. And Savelle Smalls, whether you want to call him a lottery ticket or not, in the sense that if he figures it out, he's going to be a first-team All Pac-12 kind of guy. He's a welcomed addition in terms of talent into this Colorado team. Now, flipping to the other side, well, we'll stick on the defensive line first. One more option that I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado goes to is now some of the big dogs playing that 1 tech, playing that 3 tech. Sav'ell Smalls is a very versatile guy who's probably not playing much more inside the tackle. He's probably playing whether his hand's in the dirt, whether he's in 2-point stance. He's probably playing on the outside as a pass rusher. I would like to see Colorado. They brought in Leonard Payne from Fresno State, Shane Cokes from Dartmouth. Those guys are good. What you've heard from the spring practice is they look solid. The depth, not quite there. And so I'm looking at that interior defensive line now, the big dogs that you can rotate in and out as potential targets for Coach Prime to kind of round out this roster. And they got plenty of scholarships to make it happen with. Again, a guy we talked about last time we were talking Colorado, Sean Washington from the 2022 class, 6'3", 310 pounds from Georgia. Yeah, I trust Georgia linemen. I trust their development. Sean Washington's a guy, whether he starts or not, probably going to play some meaningful snaps for Colorado in 2023. Wouldn't mind seeing him join Colorado. That's kind of the position that you're taking a look at. And then you take a look at the offensive line. You want to be able to protect Shedeur Sanders, right? Shedeur Sanders, one of the more talented arms in college football. He's throwing to what I think are some underrated weapons. I mean, whether Travis Hunter plays significant wide receiver reps or not, Jimmy Horn Jr., Xavier Weaver, I think they got some good players at that wide receiver room. They got a good running game. Now, can you protect Shedeur Sanders and get that run game going? Cameron Johnson, a first-team all-conference dude coming from Houston. He was on campus this weekend. We talk about it a lot. When Coach Prime gets you on campus, you don't see them leaving without committing, or you don't see them not committing to Colorado eventually. Being around Coach Prime seemingly is just an infectious energy in what they're doing in Boulder. So Cameron Johnson is a very nice target to have for Colorado. Now, taking a look at this 22, I kind of just want to show how much more talent is on this roster, whether it's proven talent at the Power 5 level or not. Like, there are young guys who are talented. We talked about Dawson and Cooper from the 2021 class. They're going into their third year of college football. Both guys who are top 300 dudes nationally. Colorado wasn't bringing those kind of guys in from high school a couple of years ago. You see Amir McNeil, a Tennessee body. Brandon Grant and Derek McClendon coming from Florida State. You're seeing guys come from these Power 5 teams who were not necessarily guys who got phased out, right? Derek McClendon, Amari Cooper had 3 interceptions. Derek McClendon was a starter for Florida State. That was a top 10 team last year. And so I think the conception is it's last chance you, Colorado. And I think there's a certain extent where it is. You're getting guys who are talented, haven't really figured it out at the college football level. Maybe Coach Prime in a different scenery can help get those guys going. But I feel like the narrative is a little bit that Coach Prime is just taking wash-ups. These guys are not wash-ups. They're damn good football players who are good athletes who, again, whether they're transferring for NIL, more playing time, whatever it might be, not getting along with the coaches, not the scheme. Like, these guys are good athletes. They're much more athletic, bigger, stronger fashion than what we've seen Colorado players be in prior seasons. So you're feeling really good about where this roster is coming along. The one question I would have, and I think a lot of Colorado fans would have, is how can you get 40, 50 new faces who are either enrolling in the winter or summer to come together and be a good football team in 2023? That's the biggest challenge for Coach Prime in terms of his turnaround for Colorado. The talent acquisition part, that seems to be coming along quite fine. He's going to get the talent on campus. Now, how quick can you get a bunch of different guys who've done a bunch of different things and played on different teams, come together on one team wearing the same helmet and seeing if they can play at a high level come 2023? And we said this before, if they get off to a good start in 2023, and I'm saying 6-6, like, if that's it, you're going from 1-11 to 6-6. You don't see that very often at the college football level, at the Power 5 level. That's when you start getting those kids in the 2024 and 2025 class to look at Colorado and say, they're doing something special. I can go win a championship with this program once you start winning some football games. So we said it before, this 2023 season is going to be big in terms of convincing these high school guys that this is the place to be. They're going to be able to win here and be competitive there. So again, we talk about this all the time. This is the most exciting team to take an eye on. We haven't seen this be done before in terms of this much of a roster churn, this much of a changeover in faces in this program. It's so exciting to follow. Again, if you guys have been supporting the channel, we have a lot of Colorado listeners. And again, can't thank you guys enough. It's been a blast talking Colorado football with you guys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Lock in. Maybe tomorrow night we have some more news. Cameron Johnson, Sean Washington from Georgia. You're on the clock, committing to Colorado. Again, appreciate the support you guys are showing, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.